It's alright.
Oh my god!
Yo guys, what is up? Max here in a Borderlands 3 video, and today we have a comprehensive guide about Terror. Now, Terror is a new anointment or mechanic introduced with the Bloody Harvest event. It is returning from last year, and today I will be going in depth with every single Terror anointment, how it works, and answering the most asked questions that I get, such as what actually is the ammo regeneration? How much crit damage do you get? What is the actual amount of damage reduction? We'll be going in depth with every anoint, as well as how to use Terror and explaining pretty much everything you guys need to know. If you guys find this video helpful in any ways, if you enjoy it, feel free to drop a like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. And with that, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so first let's talk about what Terror actually is. So Terror is a effect that happens to your character during this event, whether it be self-applied or if you get hit by Terror skulls. Now, when you actually have Terror applied to you, you will gain decreased accuracy and handling on your weapons. For example, if I am using this light show, consecutive hits light show, I have an apply Terror anoint on my Quasar. When I apply Terror to myself and I'm using my light show, the accuracy goes to crap. This is what you may have noticed when you're playing, is your accuracy looks horrible. With the light show, the bullets go everywhere. With other weapons, you'll notice your recoil just like shooting up randomly. The effect, if you don't have anoints, is pretty frustrating and annoying because you just lose so much accuracy. However, you want to think about your Terror as a Terror going in, Terror going out. So as long as you have something that uses the Terror in some fashion, for example, if I have this Terror ammo regen or Terror reduced damage, you no longer lose your accuracy and you are not affected by it anymore. So now I have the shield using the Terror, my accuracy is back to normal. So you want to have a way to use the Terror and you're good. As long as you have something using the Terror, whether it be an anoint on your gun, like while terrified, an anoint on your shield, as long as you have something that is using the Terror, you will not lose your accuracy. Now, to apply Terror to yourselves, you can either get hit by a ghost, or you can use one of two anointments, the on-action skill end, apply Terror to yourself every 3 seconds for the next 18 seconds, or the melee attacks have a 25% chance to apply Terror to yourself. Now, both of these are good if you're using a character that you don't want to use your action skill every 2 seconds, such as like Moze and Iron Bear. The melee attacks have a 25% chance to apply Terror to yourself is a great way to go. Now, this anoint works with the Face Puncher, so if you want to shoot a shot at the Face Puncher, you're pretty much guaranteed to apply Terror to yourself. Now, the Terror debuff or Terror stacks. It has 3 stacks, and you can tell how many stacks you have. There isn't an actual indication besides what is on your screen. So if we wait for this effect to wear off, you can see that the circumference of the radius is pretty small, and the radius gets smaller and smaller the more Terror stacks you have. So if I'm using the apply Terror myself, you'll see at the beginning, just on the corners of my screen, then after a few seconds, it'll creep in closer, and then it'll creep in even closer, indicating that you have max Terror stacks. Now, some anointments rely on the amount of Terror stacks that you have, some anoints don't. For example, looking at this anointment, while terrified, reduce all damage by a small amount. The more Terror you have, the higher the bonus. This anoint, for example, goes damage reduction at 1 stack is 10%, damage reduction at 2 stacks is 20%, damage reduction at 3 stacks is 30%. Same with something like the Terrified Crit Anoint. While Terrified, gain increased crit damage. This crit damage is 50% at 1 stack, 75% at 2 stacks, and 100% at 3 stacks of Terror. Now, in order to upkeep 3 stacks of Terror, anytime you use something like a Face Puncher with the Terror melee, or you use your action skill and then use it again, you refresh your stacks of Terror. You're not going to go leave 3 stacks of terror. If you keep applying this, it'll keep refreshing your last one. So, for example, on Flak, as long as you're using your racks, you will always stay at 3 stacks of terror, so you can maintain your 30% damage reduction, your 100% increased crit, whatever you want. But just make sure that you're using your action skill or shooting your melee weapon enough to upkeep 3 stacks. Now, some anoints have been buffed like crazy from last year. These anoints being the Attack Command Terror, the Cryo, Amara's Phase Graphs Terror Skulls do a crap ton of damage now, and we're about to get into the ones to look out for. For the general terror generating anoints, you have the Apply Terror, which we went over, the action skill, and the melee attacks. For the offensive anointments for terror, there is while terrified, gain increased damage and fire rate. The more terror you have, the higher the bonus. This got buffed from last year. Next, there's the while terrified, gain increased crit damage. That also got buffed from last year up to 100% at 3 stacks. The while terrified, gain ammo regeneration is going to give you 5% of your magazine, 11% of your magazine, and 16% with 1, 2, and 3 stacks accordingly. So at 3 stacks, 16% of your magazine size per second, which is really, really strong. The Terror Anoint to fire an extra projectile was removed. You can no longer get that. That anoint was broken and could stack. And lastly, on our offensive anointments, we have the while terrified, deal 50% bonus crowd damage. Now, this anoint works like URAD in that it applies to everything while you're holding it. If you're holding an anoint 75% cryo, it applies to your melee, it applies to your action skill, it applies to your grenades, it applies to your weapons. Everything you do, this applies to. And even though numerically it isn't as strong as, for example, like a 100 melee, having that cryo, or 100 ASE, having that 75% cryo on everything is like a cryo version of the URAD anointment and is actually very strong. For the defense anointments, there is the on-action skill and heal for 25% of your max health, which is increased by 15% per terror stack. This anoint is actually very strong on characters that rely on health. Flak works really, really well with. Like Zane and Amara don't really need health, but you can get pretty much up to 70% of your max health when you use this, which is just really, really nice. And this anoint on action skill end works with the on action skill end apply terror, so you can basically, whenever you use your action skill, you're going to get a big heal, and you can just spam, for example, racks and get big heals, which is really, really nice. There's the health regen anoint, which is 4% per second, 6% per second, and then 8% per second of your max health. The next one is the damage reduction, which we talked about, is 10, 20, and 30% of damage reduction. And the last one is the terrified enemy bullets have a chance to reflect off of you. Now, I don't have the numbers for that off the top of my head, but hopefully I will have them on screen, because that one actually got changed as well. All in all, terror is very cool. Some people don't like the terror debuff being on your screen. I personally don't mind it. Now, one of the most asked questions I get that I really, really wanted to address, and hopefully you guys stayed for this part, is does any of this matter past this event? If this event ends, can I still use the anointments? Yes, absolutely. Terror anoints aren't going anywhere. People were still using terror anoints from level 50 a while ago. But when this event ends, as long as you have anoints that generate terror, either the melee attacks or the on-action skill and apply terror to yourself, you will be able to generate terror on yourself and be able to use terror in your builds. The level cap staying at 65 for a while means that these items will be relevant for a while, and it is actually genuinely worth your time to try to get cool anoints and weapons and shields that you want with these anoints, because yes, absolutely, terror will be relevant once this event ends, and you only have about a month to to farm for this stuff, so definitely get going. If you guys learned anything new, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace!
I was putting